Hello, welcome back to Holistic Hacks. So in this video I'm going to talk about a little something which if you choose to integrate into your life, it's far from a hack. Okay, and what I'm going to talk about is fungal and parasite infections. Now this is quite a big topic, so I'm just going to go over it briefly. And all there really is to understand is inside our body, inside our digestive system, we have what's called the microbiome, which is made up of different types of bacteria. Okay, so we have good bacteria and we have bad bacteria. Essentially, we run the risk through a whole manner of essentially ill health of having either a parasite or a fungal infection. So a fungal infection initially actually starts on the outside of the skin, and when it breaks the skin, it actually infiltrates the body. And it can attach onto organs and stay in your digestive tract. And it's a fungus. It's basically like the same fungus that you would see outside on a tree, decomposing shit, is the same thing which you have inside your body. And along that, so when you put it like that, it sounds very extreme, but in a very real sense, that is what's happening. It's feeding on dead things inside you. And parasites as well, which of course are essentially uninvited guests, which we can pick up from eating dodgy foods. We could pick that up even from your dog kissing your face, door handles. There's a whole manner of ways that we can contract these parasites. But one of the main things here is that it's highly unlikely that you will have one or the other. Normally both come together. So if you have a fungal infection, you will have a parasite as well. That's just the way it goes, because your body's so bunged up, it finds it hard to rid of these uninvited guests, essentially. So how do you get rid of a parasite or fungal infection? If you want to know if you have one, you can get tested. But as a general rule of thumb, if you're craving dairy, if you're craving sugar, you're craving starch, and quite often if you're having a pretty shitty night's sleep, because a fungal infection's circadian rhythm is actually opposite to ours. So when we're trying to get to sleep, the fungus essentially is waking up, because we have to understand this is a living being. Okay, so it's one of the last things you would address with your health, but I'm just going over it now. More importantly, with the solution. Okay, and the solution to fixing parasite and fungal infections, believe it or not, is simply diet. So what diet do you need to combat this? Okay, so it's a highly restrictive diet, I can't lie, but I'm going to write it down just up here for you. And that's pretty much it. I don't know if you can read that. So the antifungal diet, for a start, has to be kept up for a minimum of 6 months. Okay, because what's essentially happening is the fungus is being starved of all the things which you're now not providing it. So the first thing you need to cut out is sugar. Okay, that's processed sugar, and that includes fruit as well. Okay, because there's two things that funguses, parasites generally feed off. One being like dead matter, so this is I'll go into it, but your dairy and your starch, essentially, and processed foods, and sugars as well. So what this process is essentially cleaning up your digestive tract to create a much more alkaline environment. So there's less for bacteria and fungus to feed off. So no sugar, you got to cut your sugar out for 6 months minimum. No starch as well. No dairy, because that's like I said, dead stuff, you know. And no below ground vegetables. Okay, so anything with a high glycemic index, so generally vegetables above ground have a high glycemic index, so you have to cut those out as well. It does include coffee as well. So there is one exception, well, it's two exceptions really. Blueberries are okay. Green apples are okay as well without the skin, and carrots as well is the only below ground vegetable that is okay. So as you can see, it's quite a restrictive diet. You know, go to town on your proteins, that's fine. But the reason I'm raising this is because this is an element of health which is completely left out by modern science, by the modern medical system. it's completely unspoken about, and many times people will have health problems and not really understand where they're coming from, and a lot of the time it's simply because they have some pretty nasty shit going on inside their digestive tract. So yeah, if you think you might have a fungal infection, definitely consider this, but it's more important to harmonise your bodily systems first, encourage parasympathetic activation, you know, finding things that you really love doing, and just generally getting to a point where your body can stay in a good state of homeostasis before you embark on this 6-month task. So, holistic hacks, give it a try.